Hello, everyone. Welcome to Music Scene Investigation. Glad you're with us. I forgot my light again, but what are you going to do about that? It is fall, however, and everyone knows it gets dark earlier in the fall. Thus, darkness, And we are on the dark side today because we have Jedi Bret as a guest with us. We'll meet him in a little bit, so it's kind of like a whole theme show. I think Ian is wearing a Darth Vader mask. Tommy is going to be dressed up like Yoda. And, of course, I'm Princess Leia. Glad you're... I don't know where it comes from, but it does. Anyway, Music Scene Investigation. If you're not familiar with it, it's a very simple concept. Indie artists from all over the world send music to MusicSceneInvestigation.com. It is placed in front of our panel so that they can offer their review and critique of that music. It's called Reviews You Can Use. As an indie artist out there, you don't want to hear people just saying, hey, man, it sounds great. You want actual information about your song that you can take with you and learn from, put into practice on what you do every day. It's make people happy. And we're happy to provide it to those artists for free. For indie fans, you get to hear great bands that you may not have ever heard of before, and great music along the way. Now let's introduce our panelist on today's fine show, Mr. Tom Chianti from New York City. Hey, Tommy, how are you, sir?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone and everywhere.
I'm glad you're here. You look awful chipper today. Last time I talked to you...
I just got shocked awake. I was half asleep when you mentioned my name.
I was going to say, last time I talked with you, you were all out of it, man. I know you've had some illness, been sick a little bit, so you're looking good.
Yes. Well, even when you reach my age and stature of dominion, you get to look good no matter what. I'm actually feeling like death, but I'm looking like life.
Well, it's good to see you up and about, and fine Yoda costume, by the way.
You like it, don't you?
I do.
I didn't wear the ears.
That's okay. That's okay. It's the way you combed your hair, very convincing.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here, Tommy. Let's go over and meet in London, England, our panelist from there, Mr. Ian Husbands. Ian, Mr. Vader, sir, how are you? Cousin It?
I've come as Chewbacca. I mean, come on, work with me.
Chewbacca. Okay. My grandpa used to Chewbacca. You didn't know that.
Really me.
Oh,
I know.
Not really Chewbacca.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I
thought I was sick before.
I couldn't resist. Ian, welcome back. Glad to see you. Looking awful chipper in the Green Arrow shirt, I see.
Yes, you like the Green Arrow shit, don't you? One of the lesser-known DC characters, but one of my favourites.
Yeah, here in the States, you may have it over in England as well. There is a television series called The Arrow, which is not the Green Arrow, but it's supposedly based on.
Well, it is the Green Arrow. They just took the green out because maybe it sounds too politically motivated. Yeah,
the Green Party is really under attack here for vegetables. Don't ask me why. I don't know.
I don't know. All I know, the Russia's boarded the Green Party's ship and taken it over recently,
Yeah, well, hard telling what's going on with those guys anyway.
They need the Green Arrow. He'll sort it out.
Yep. Green Arrow is good comic
statements.
We do. All right. Well, fill me in on the witness statements from last week, if you would, please.
Well, it's nice to see that we're still on form, Tom, and our audience were agreeing with us. Not totally, but Can't Change by Sednan Radar, who we voted as Song of the Week, has come top in all of the spots, but only with 50% in songwriting and 67% in performance and mixing production.
So what was the other 50% in songwriting then?
It was split between Song 1, which came in with 33% of the votes, and Song 3, which got 17% of the votes.
Well, so there you have it. 50% was an overwhelming yes in that department, considering how the other votes were split.
Indeed, yes.
It's good to see. Good to see you guys back on form again. Now,
well, we like to keep up with the people.
Well, absolutely, and I think that's a great thing. I really do. All right, let's meet our guest panelist today, Mr. Guy wielding a lightsaber for the what do they call that? The the light side of the force. I don't know, but he is the purveyor extraordinaire from Middle Tennessee Music and Small Barn Sound, Mr. Bret Campbell. Hey, Bret, welcome back to the broadcast.
Good afternoon. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Doing great. Now, earlier we saw the ghost of Small Barn Sound, and I got to tell you, I got to tell you, I think you have 2 or 3 there.
At least 3 that have been identified, or as separate entities anyway, identified as to who they are. That hasn't happened.
So you really have ghosts there?
Yeah, I really have ghosts here.
Now, I got to ask this question because I know what you guys do at Small Barn Sound. You do a lot of audio production, audio mixing, things along those lines. Do they ever help?
That I guess depends. There was the old ghost in the machine, the police thing. Sometimes the ghosts in the machines, can produce some interesting effects.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, tell me, you, of course, are a big proponent of Google Plus, one of your favorite social network sites. And through Middle Tennessee Music, you guys are all over Google Plus. So tell me what's been going on lately with Middle Tennessee Music, you, and everything you guys have going on this time around since we last talked.
Wow, have you got an hour or 2, Rich? It's been pretty busy. My partner Joshua moved to California, and so we're expanding out there and different things going on. Josh is really working with a whole lot of new musical artists in particular. Over on the Middle Tennessee Music site, we're continuing with everything we've been doing and bringing in a lot more. We've got several new writers joining us to do reviews not only on records but gear and recording processes and things like that. Both Joshua and myself are reaching out and writing with more websites and doing more things like that, getting involved with more shows like your own. What else is going on? We're working lately with Artists in the Plus on Google Plus with their big online music fest, which is next weekend. And from all the research we've done, there's anything like it going on the internet right now. So that's really exciting to be a part of and watch them put that together.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that Artist in the Plus event that's going to be taking place, because I'm sure that there are a number of people who watch this broadcast who love indie music, who love hearing new artists that they may never have heard of before. Tell us a little bit about what's going on over on Google Plus and how they can get involved and watch the program or become involved otherwise within that program.
Wow. I mean, there's so many ways. The whole online festival for the independent musicians was started last year. John Vachel started up Artist in the Plus basically for something to do and to show some support for all the good independent music that is on Google. It's grown and grown. He now has the 14th largest business page on Google, which is an amazing number, especially when you consider only a year and a half or so he's been promoting it. This year, there are well over 80 bands that will be playing live from various spots around the world. The main stage for the event will be held out at Village Studios in L.A. With producer Val Garay behind the board. There'll be another studio in North Carolina hosted by Robert Combs and Sarah. Why did I not remember Sarah's last name? Corbin. I'll be over there to help with that, and there'll be several bands playing from there. There's another stage in Bergen, Norway. I think half a dozen bands are gathering there to do their performances at that studio, which is run by Tom Braza. And then there are well over 40 performances happening from various studios, garages, barns, etc., around the globe. I won't say across the United States, around the globe. So it's really interesting and dynamic project to put together with a lot of different angles coming in, a lot of work's gone into it. And it's really exciting to be even just a part of it, and really looking forward to see what Artists in the Plus does in the next few months. I think they're going to do some great things for independent musicians.
Yeah, it sounds to me like everybody's got it together over there in regards to everything they do on Artist in the Plus, and I'm glad to see that you're a big part of it, and certainly hope that grows and continues. I know how much you guys do over at Middle Tennessee Music for the promotion of indie artists, and I think that the more we can see you out there, obviously, the more pleased I am, and I'm sure everybody else, once they go to Middle Tennessee Music's website, will understand that, because you guys do some great work out there. You really do.
We're trying to, and it's just really fortunate to get involved with the other groups that are doing great things also. And I think that every time we make one of those relationships, it helps the entire independent music community, and that's really what we're all about.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And so you say you're going to be over in North Carolina at the studio then this next weekend, helping those guys out there get everything up and on the road, so to say.
Right. And at this moment, I really don't know what my chores will be, whether I'll be, an assistant technician or handling hangouts or what. Doesn't really matter.
What's that, Ian?
T-boy.
T-boy. Okay.
Job, innit? Someone's got to do it.
Sure, why not? As long as I get to wear something skimpy.
All right, I don't want to go there. I really don't. But
I just want to say that you're not the only one with spirits in your house. I've got some here. Look, Jack Daniels.
Oh.
Fantastic.
I think Ian actually went to Tennessee to pick that bottle up.
I'd love to come to Tennessee and pick a bottle up.
It's just 40 miles away from my house.
Well, it's only a short drive, Brett. Come drive down and pick me some up.
I can do that.
That as the crow flies.
I'd rather send you something real.
You can send that as well.
From Brett's own home still, you never know. All right, so Brett, let me ask you, since Joshua moved to California, how has that impacted what goes on at Middle Tennessee Music? I'm assuming that you guys have just expanded, from, the middle of the country all the way to the West Coast and every place in between right now, since that's the case.
Well, it's hard to tell, and that's just an honest answer. We've always covered everything with a focus particularly on the Middle Tennessee area, but anything from anywhere is welcome. And we've always been sure to make that, well known. With Joshua heading out there, he's only been there about 3 weeks now, so he's just getting acclimated and settled in. There was a period of a week or so where I pretty much took over everything we were doing and got what I could done. And Josh is back hardcore. I got into the dashboard of the website last night, and a lot of things have been done. A lot of changes have been made. He's published all kinds of articles where he found the time to do it. I don't know. So that's great. Pretty much moving forward, just like always, both of us get ideas, we roll with them. As an idea starts to take form and something starts to happen with it, then we get in touch with the other. Hey, I started on this, and we'll see where it goes. And it's a really loose-knit kind of thing. Anybody that works with us for long doing anything realizes that once they bite off a part of a project, that's their project. And so you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, now I know that you're even busier this time around now that we're speaking than you were last time we talked. Not only because of the Artist in the Plus stuff, the Middle Tennessee Music expansion, the things you're doing at Small Barn Sound, but you also have a new position which you're just getting ready to jump into with Indie News at Noon, I'm understanding. You and Janae Giddens will be taking over the co-anchor seats on that as well. So you really have a full boat, I guess.
Definitely have a full load of stuff going on, and I'm supposed to have a time management sheet put together by the end of the day. It's not going so well so far.
I can understand.
You need to manage your time better.
Yeah, what I need is about 3 or 4 secretaries and a dozen interns.
Tom, I think, might be able to hook you up.
Not really. I don't ship interns.
I was going to say, Tom's had more interns than anybody I know. So if he knows where to find interns, you know, he's the guy. He's the go-to guy.
Yeah, they just don't travel well. It's something about forgetting to put air holes in the boxes as I ship them.
All right.
You gotta keep fresh dirt in there too, you know.
Yeah, and some mulch.
Right.
All right. So maybe Tom's not the guy to go to. So I'll tell you what, though, we do have some new music that I want you guys to hear on the panel and offer your ideas, thoughts on. So let's get to it. Let's just go ahead and get the car rolling, so to say, with what it is we do here at Music Scene Investigation, listening to some new great music and hearing what our panel has to say again, about it. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and start the broadcast with song number 1 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Here it is, everyone. Certainly hope you enjoy it.
Last night I had a dream. You and I were there. No one in between. No one to compare. Don't you regret the day you threw it all away, and then I woke to see. Last night I had a dream. Last night I had a dream. You thought you held the key, but you could not have seen what you've done for me. I don't regret the day you threw it all away, and then I woke to see.
That's song number 1 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Now, questions are flying all around in the chat room. If you're not in the chat room, please join us, musicsceneinvestigation.com/live. There's a chat link at the bottom of the page. Of course, if you're seeing us on Justin TV Live, all you have to do is go over to the right-hand side of that page, which I think is over that way, and you can chat as well. We look forward to hearing from you, of course. Let's go to Ian Husbands, find out what he thought of today's first song. Ian, your thoughts?
Okay, the first thing, vocals are far too high. The instrumentation is just pushed right back in the background. and all you really got is that vocal coming through. And there's a lot of gaps where a vocal should be that doesn't seem to be there. So from first thing, the mix needs a lot of attention. What I can hear of the instruments in the background, from an EQ point of view, they all sound like they're sitting in the mid-range. There's no sparkle, there's no nice bottom end to it. So again, EQing all these instruments properly to give them space. They're all sitting on top of each other. And, to be honest, the performances are all pretty basic. There's no real flair here. The drums, if they're not programmed, you could have done a better job with programming them. The hi-hat was really annoying, found that. The guitars, they were just really jangly and didn't really sort of add anything except a sort of rhythm strum. There was no flair in the guitar playing at all. The bassist actually seemed to be quite competent, but again, timing-wise, locking with those drums wasn't quite there, and from the point of view of EQ on the bass, it didn't sound all that good either. As for a song, it was all a bit dull, really. I mean, there was some nice little elements, the stops, bringing the electric guitar in. So, there's definitely an idea of arrangement here and dynamic, but with that vocal being so up high and the instruments being so far back, you don't really get that. But I did find the performances, they were okay. Again, there was no sort of real shine or sparkle. And that goes from the vocalist through to the guitar players, through to the drums especially. The drums were a big weak point in this for me. There's no real hook. It's all very sort of middle of the road. And it did get a bit boring, to be honest. I mean, lyrically, nothing stuck out in my head. The singer, he's got a voice, but it just doesn't convince me as a singer. It all just sounded a bit too nice and a bit too meh. So kind of that's where I'm at with it, really. It's as a song, as a mix, as a production, it all needs a lot of work.
All right. Well, I appreciate your thoughts, Ian. Thank you very much. Now over to Mr. Tom Chianti, finding out his thoughts as well. Tom?
Hey, Rich. Hey, Ian. Brett. It's a song demo, really, basically. It's a scratch pad of ideas. Like Ian said, there's, good ideas, basic production ideas and where things should come in and come out. It sounds like a one-man production, and where he's sort of a jack of all trades and master of none. The vocal was pitchy, the guitar was pitchy, the drums timing was weak. The bass was, decent, as Ian said, but it's pretty much at this point just really an idea with Last Night I Had a Dream as the foremost lyric and hook, weak as I believe it to be. And I think that the guys, at the beginning of a very long road of preparation, production, and practice. And once he does all them and gets some experience, I've written over and produced of my own stuff, 1,000 or so tracks. I don't know how many years, and 990 of them I've thrown out. And don't really like the way they sound. And you have to, use the shotgun method as you learn. You just have to just keep at it and just keep trying and honing your skills and playing and mixing. And the guy gave it a shot, and it just needs a lot of work, and it's a little static.
All right, Tommy, thank you very much as well. Now to Mr. Middle Tennessee himself, Jedi Bret. Bret, what do you think? You're wordless,
I'm
or
going to buck the trend.
Go ahead.
I'm going to start off by saying I kind of liked it. That being said, the mix sucked. They're right. I did sort of like the bass tone, and you could have completely reworked the entire mix around that bass tone and come up with something that worked. But yeah, the vocal pitch was bad. Everything I heard in the whole thing needed just needed work. Other than that, it was a good song. Sophomore effort. I'd like to see them go back and do it again. And rather than rehash everything else, I think I can just kind of hush there and let it be. I like the song.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Bret. Thank you very much for your thoughts there. Let me introduce that track to everyone. The name of that particular song is called Last Night I Had a Dream. That is by Dr. Music 59. Dr. Music, appreciate your sending that song into Music Scene Investigation. Gentlemen, first song is Down the Hatch. 2 more songs to go. Let's get right to it. Song number 2 coming your way. All right, now this is song number 2 on today's Music Scene Investigation. That's song number 2 on today's music scene investigation. Right now, we're going to start out with Tommy, find out what his thoughts are. Tommy, what do you think of track number 2? Tommy's been placed in timeout, apparently.
No.
I think he's gone to sleep. Give him a kick.
You gotta love someone who gets every dollar they paid for out of an EQ and compressor. It's a DJ track. The bus compressing, side chaining on the overall mix is way, way overdone to give it that pumping sound, and that beating on me is not very good to feel. In some clubs with mixed well, it's a cool effect. It's overdone here. And this really, about halfway through, got a little interesting with the piano and the Roland type synth in there. Jupiter synth sound, I think it was. There's some interesting spots, some interesting sounds, but it really doesn't have a collective flow, start, middle, and an end. It seems like a collection of let's get the bass and kick pumping, and then just throw patches and parts on top. A lot of promise, a lot of good sounds. Guys probably got some nice built-in synths or outboard synth sounds and stuff. Really needs to get some coherency going and structure and a theme, so that if the first 30 seconds of it, would make for a good in-between track as a DJ was switching between songs. But he carried that a little bit too long and didn't develop it. And without development, it becomes static and repetitive. So theme, structure, some further development, calm down on the bus compression and the filtering of the whole mix, and be a little bit restrained in the use of the technology. And, you'll have a cool club piece that people can bop to. This is a little overcooked.
All right, Tom. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Now over Mr. Bret Campbell. Bret, your take on track number 2?
Very similar to Tom's. I had to bring up images of pictures that my friends had sent me from Burning Man and kind of let them change out in my head to the beat of the music to keep me interested. The piano break in the middle was nice. I was definitely ready for a change. The backwards masking on the kick drum gets old. We almost expected in a track like this. If we could have brought that in and out, it would have helped. Tom's right about the compression. And it's really hard for me to get into a straight electro song like that. Everything seems so laid out to a pattern. We know what to expect. We know what's coming next almost. Almost any kind of lyric or something in there to break it up, give it its own feel would have helped. I just have a real hard time. This is not something I would put in for my car to ride down the road on. This is not something I would play late at night or during the day just for listening pleasure. Other than that, I could have heard it being used in a movie soundtrack, particularly in that high-energy action scene kind of thing. I know where he's going. The club mix thing is there's a needed spot in that. Our society needs that music. Take this thing into the drawing board again and really dress it up. And I think the guy's got something. Other than that, it's not my forte.
All right, Bret, I appreciate that. Thank you as well. Now to Mr. Green Arrow himself, Ian Husbands. Ian?
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, I'm going to shoot this down with an arrow, I'm afraid. I mean, this sounds to me like someone's listened to a few commercial dance tracks that they like, and then they've tried to rip it off and done it badly, to be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, from the point of view of the tonality of the instruments used. The drums sounded great. The synths all sounded great. Really nice sounds, but they're nothing new. These are sounds that are used in dance track time and time again. And, you know, that piano melody which came in was nice. I'll agree with the guys, but it came in about a minute and a half too late for my liking. You know, the whole build-up of the track to start with didn't really do much for me at all. It's really lacks in any sort of arrangement, this track. You know, there's not really any sort of strong dynamic to it. You just got that pumping beat most of the way through, with washes coming in which were too loud. You know, it's auto filter on everything, just, you know, in and out, in and out. Then you had a melody come in about the 4-minute mark as well, which was a rip-off of a couple of commercial dance tracks which I know, including the sound that was used. I couldn't give the name of the tracks that it's been done off of, but you know, there is no anthem to this. There is no riff to this. There is no melody to this that makes you hook in and want to listen to it and keep you there. And I did find myself getting bored about a minute into this because it just didn't go anywhere, didn't move anywhere for my liking. Mix-wise, it sounded good. The guy's got a good ear for sounds. But when it comes to arrangement and production and making it into a song, I don't think even any of the DJs I know would spin this up, because it just isn't cohesive enough. It's just a beat with bits and pieces going on at random points in time.
All right, Ian, I thank you for your thoughts. The name of this particular track is called Shores of Titan by Krzysztof Klusek, and we appreciate Krzysztof sending that track in, Music Scene Investigation. Now, I want to take and run one more track by you guys. I know you're ready for it, so let's go with no further ado to track number 3 on today's broadcast. This is track number 3 on today's MSI.
I just
That's song number 3 on today's music scene investigation. I'm smiling because I'm watching Tom behind the scenes listening to that song, and I just thought it was very, very amusing. We'll find out what he thought about it here in just a second. However, let's go to Bret Campbell first. Find out his thoughts. Bret, song number 3 to you, sir.
Yeah. The mix sounded dead to me. And about halfway through, I decided that even the cool little acoustic guitar wasn't a real guitar. Static drums, etc. But the 3 that we've heard today, I think that was the most exciting tune. And I could hear myself listening to it again. He's taken an approach of saying something that has been said in thousands of songs and going back to the most simple way he can say it. And I think that is the song's redeeming factor, that he kept that line just simplistic, as simple as it can be. I just want to be myself. But at 3 minutes and 44 seconds, it would have been a lot better if it had been like the first one and come in at 2:48. I think he would have summed it up, gotten to the point, and really had something kind of catchy for himself there. Would like to hear him go back to the mix again, open it up, give it a few more little tricks, and bring out some high end and things like that so that we can really hear what's going on, and maybe work just a little bit on the pitch of the vocal. But other than that, hey, it's a fairly solid song, and got a chance to do something with that one.
All right, Bret, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now over to Mr. Ian Husbands and his thoughts on track number 3. Ian?
Yeah, okay. This sounds like a songwriting demo. It sounds like a guy in his studio going, right, I want to write a song. This is what I'm going to do. This is how it sounds. I mean, to start with, lose the dance drums. You need a live drummer on this big rock groove in the background. You've got so much room to add some really great stuff in here. I was really hoping there was going to be some big grinding rock guitars coming on that chorus. Again, the acoustic doesn't sound real. Loops or something like that sound nice, but gets very repetitive. Where was the bass? You had that little synth section sort of about two-thirds of the way through. But that was too little, too late for me. I mean, there needs to be an underlying bass line in this, driving this track along. The biggest thing for me is I think the vocalist was well within his comfort range, well within, too low for him probably. And you could change the key on this track, a couple of keys, just take it up a couple of tones, and really put that vocalist under a bit of pressure to stretch his voice and go for it and sing. So obviously can sing, obviously has got an ear for harmonies and things like that, because as the harmonies came in towards the end, again, a little bit too little too late for my liking. They were doing some nice stuff, but there's so much room here for so much of the stuff. Grooving bass, big grooving drums, big electric guitars, kicking that chorus in, giving it a proper dynamic. Question and answer backing vocals. Again, that I just want to be myself, repeated over and over and over again, just as a single line does get a bit tedious. Yeah, okay, we understand you want to be yourself. That's great, but you're boring me now. Bring in some question and answers, bring in some more backing vocals, more harmonies, loud those vocals up, make it big. Because at the moment I'm not convinced that it's just you going, I want to be myself. The other line I thought was quite interesting was that I don't care what people think, which is strange when you send your song into a show like this. Just a thought. But really, there's an idea here. And it needs taking to a group of musicians who are slightly better at what they do than you are, and get them to work it up. Take it up that key, push yourself as a vocalist, and get some more vocal work going on. Question and answers, more backing vocals, more harmonies. And I think you've got a song, but in its current state, it's a bit nonplus.
All right, Ian, I thank you for your thoughts. I apologize to Janae for the ads popping up in the Justin TV stream. Apparently that's happening more and more as we do this broadcast. However, we're going to go over to Tom and find out what his thoughts are as well. Tommy, I was smiling at you as you listened to that song because you had your hands on both sides of the console like you were grasping it for dear life. I didn't know if you were holding yourself up or just excited about what you were hearing. Why don't you tell us what you thought?
Well, at first, out of the three, as the Jedi has said, it was the strongest. And I was just so happy to hear something in tune and on time that I was like, oh, this is going to go places. It didn't. And to Ian, I would say, oh, everything doesn't need big rocking guitars. You know,
This does.
you know, it could use big synths. It could use anything big. There is, like Ian said, there's tremendous room to do this for breaks, for stops, for change-ups. I want to hear, I would not even mind him just very simply saying and repetitively doing the I just want to be myself. If the track were more interesting, that would work. But as it is now, the track is repetitive, he is repetitive, and it gets too repetitive. And like Bret said, you know, coming in a minute shorter would have made me like this a bit more, but still would not have changed my opinion. That this is just the first few lines of a book or a short story, and he's really got a good idea, he's got a good phrase, a catchy one, and a little quirkiness in his voice, which works, and just produce the heck out of it. If he, you know, like Ian said, he could bring it up, and I wanted to hear female vocalist just backing and belting out in the back. I just want to be myself, yelp and wailing away. And it really would have put some energy into even the simple track as it is. Yeah, no, lots of work, but he's got a good start. He's got an idea, a strong, solid idea. Whereas, you know, number one had, you know, an idea of production, but didn't follow through and didn't have the chops to present it as well as this guy did. And number two, the guy had the chops but didn't have the experience to, again, present it coherently. This was, you know, it made sense. It just can be so much better. I mean, the mix, I'm not even, you know, none of these songs will I comment on the mix because they're just beginning slates of work, and they all need to be sussed out, pumped up, built out, and bellowed.
All right, Tommy. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. This song is called, obviously, Be Myself by Loopy Adorno. Loopy Adorno, thanks for sending your track into Music Scene Investigation. Now I'm going to turn it over to our panel so they can decide upon a song of the week. It's part of their job. They have to do it every week, and this is no exception. So, gentlemen, I turn it over to you. Let's figure out what you guys think for your Song of the Week selection.
Oh, do we even have to?
But I think...
are we going to make this poor man sweat? Are we going to go into the mystery and sell our souls to have 5 more minutes of viewership? Let's just do it.
what we doing?
Song
Number
of
3.
Tommy says, Be Myself from Loopy Adorno.
No, Tommy, you sure you want to give it to number 3? Just right off the bat like that?
Yeah, I've considered, you know, and I really did not like the song idea of number 1. It's, you know, I know you kind of like the song. It just wasn't a solid enough idea as this one was. Maybe because this one's a lot simpler.
I
But,
gotta agree with you on that because I've already forgotten song number one.
Yeah. I mean, Be Myself is going to stick with you to at least another 3 hours.
Right.
Yeah, at least until you wash your hands.
I don't know. I guess if it's okay with Ian, then I'll go with number 3. But there should be some sense of suspense here. So
Yeah, there should be some sense of something.
Is that helping?
That's very
Yeah.
suspenseful, yeah.
Bit of a drum roll, you know.
Wait a
Well, who
second.
am
I
I
don't
to
know,
rock?
it
Let's
almost
hear,
deserves-
let's hear it from the Green Arrow. Dun, dun, dun.
I'd like to go with song number 4, please.
Sorry, what would song number 4 be again?
I haven't written it yet.
Yeah, that would be a great song. Instead of just repeating Be Myself, just keep repeating, I haven't written it yet.
Not a bad idea for a song. I can't write a song.
there's another verse in there somewhere.
Well,
Let's
I
take
think,
the
you know,
lines now.
as the guys have said, really, I mean, you know, number one, lots of good ideas there. Mix was bad. Song needs work. I'm not going to say bad, but it did need a lot of work. It didn't really catch me at all. Number two, the guy's got some chops. He knows his sounds, but he doesn't really understand the arrangement and composition side of things. So for me, it's got to be number 3. It's probably the closest to a fully structured song that we've got. And although it does need a lot of work still, it's sort of more there than the rest of them. So number 3 for me too, please. I want to be myself as well.
All right, so you're all going to be yourself by making the same selection. Number 3, unanimous. Be Myself by Loopy, Adorno, and that is our song of the week. So there you have it. We want to hear what you have to say, of course. Head on over to our witness page so you can file your witness statement. Let us know. That's at musicsceneinvestigation.com/witness. You can click the link there that's in the chat room as well. It'll take you to the same place. And please file your witness statements and no pushing while in line. Thank you very much for your cooperation.
Beat me, with me, prove me wrong. Pick another song. I dare you.
Tommy,
Go
you're very,
ahead.
very confrontational today, buddy.
Arr.
All
Arr.
right.
You had your fiber, man?
I think you might have had too much fiber.
I think I had one too many cups of coffee. My bronchitis is kicking in, and I'm losing my voice, and Ian is starting to look cute again. So I got to go.
Oh, no. Yeah, definitely you got to go. Brett, thanks for being
I think
here.
your pills are wearing off.
I appreciate your joining us. I wish I could have kept Tommy under control, but you know how it is, man.
It's a pleasure as always, and can't wait to join in with the Indie News at Noon and get that going over the next couple
Absolutely.
days, I think.
Absolutely looking forward to that. Again, thanks for being with us. Everybody should head over to Middle Tennessee Music. That's midtnmusic.com, where they can find out everything that's going on with you and what you're up to. Of course, give your Google account name so everybody can circle you on Google as well.
Well, you see there at the bottom of the screen where it says Bret Campbell, add a C in front of that, the initial C, and you'll find me on Google Plus or Facebook or anywhere else, actually.
You've got about 3 or 4 Twitter accounts, haven't you?
A few.
You never use any of them, do you?
Pardon me?
You never use any of them, do you?
Yeah. I actually use them all for different purposes.
Very rarely see you on Twitter, Brett. I'd like you to join in more.
I do need to spend a little more time with Twitter. Tuesdays are a big day for me on Twitter. And I've been trying to get over there a little more often lately, too. But, hey, like we said, we're also busy. So if you don't find me on Twitter and you really want to converse, Google Plus, man, that's I'll talk to just about anybody through Google at just about any time.
And to prove that fact, he actually talks to me on Google+. So there you go. You know he'll talk to anybody if he's talking with me. Brett, thanks again, buddy. I appreciate it. Thanks to Tom and Ian as well. We're going to play out with Be Myself right here on Music Scene Investigation. Hope to see you again next week.
After.
We'll be back after Ian says something, I think. Now, I know what Ian's going to say. Go ahead, Ian. Tell us who's going to be on the broadcast next week.
Every week for 3 years, you forget me.
I do, and it's on purpose most of the time. You know this.
3 years.
Yeah.
You grind a man down, man.
I'm like an elephant, long memory and all.
Well, next week we'll be joined by our best guest of the year 2012 and best guest of the year 2011 as well, Mr. Paul Miro.
Looking forward to that. I know he's been a busy man these past number of months. A lot of things going on with him. I can't wait to catch up.
You know,
He's got a lot going on.
I'm glad that Paul's coming next week, but you really don't look like an elephant. Your forehead is far too wrinkly.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate your thoughts on that. Thanks for being with us, everybody. This is Be Myself.
I just gotta be me. It doesn't matter what they say or what they think. I can't be anybody but me. Let's be honest, that the world ain't what it used to be. The life I live today is from the world's conditioning. I need to get away, I need to find a place. I'm gonna show them that their judgment doesn't mean a thing. I just wanna be myself. I just wanna be myself. I just wanna be myself. Catch me in my zone, take you to the unknown. They wanna see the other side they haven't seen before. Let's bring them in the light, my spirit's shining bright. I wanna feel you in all secrets you have yet to find. Leave me, I make it look easy. Those other folks don't see it. That's why they wanna be me. You feel me? Don't use me. Trusting you, just prove me. I just wanna open up my heart. I just wanna be myself. I just wanna be myself. Tonight I'm gonna be myself. I just wanna be myself. I just wanna be myself. I just wanna be myself. I don't care what people say, I'm okay. I'm not afraid of what people think anyway. Tonight I'm gonna be me and make it look easy. Those other folks don't see it. That's why they want